reducing this beautiful gift that God has given of sexuality to merely an act of biology with no deeper meaning or purpose at all. And although we'll often look to verses to show that God is always watching us, that God is everywhere to encourage people not to sin, and we should, and the Bible does that as well, Paul takes a different tactic here. Instead of just saying Christ is watching if you're doing that, or God is watching if you're doing these things, he says, shall I then take the members of Christ and make them members of a prostitute? He's basically saying, look, you're united with Christ. Therefore, if you're taking part in this immorality, you're uniting Christ to immorality. And he says in pretty strong terms, never should this happen. Never do we drag our Savior through the mud like that. And this is true whether it's literal prostitution or whether it's pornography or whether it's whatever form that immorality takes. He's saying that when you're engaging as a believer in this type of behavior, you're dragging Christ through the mud along with you. I mean, could you imagine? Think about if Jesus was actually physically standing on the earth next to you. Could you imagine like trying to convince him to sin along with you? I mean, could you imagine that? But this is ultimately what you're doing because you're united with him if you are his. And again, Paul's answer in no uncertain terms, never. Paul's outraged at even the thought of such a thing. And some theologians say that the strength of Paul's